It's the end of an era. I'm always like the women from Sex and the City. You leave the party when it's still popping. You never want to be the closed down crew.
Oh, I'm like the throw the party type of doer. One of those. Is there a reference in there for that?
No, unfortunately.
I wasn't a fan of the show.
No. So this will be the
Yeah.
It'll be the last episode.
It will be.
Congratulations on your success.
Thank you.
Jace is going to be leaving Ciarza, and we wish her nothing but the best. And not only do we wish her nothing but the best, we're incredibly supportive of this new role that you're going to be taking. I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going to be going anywhere. Justin's not going anywhere. At least I hope not. Justin will be doing a whole monologue in the post-credits, by the way. So he can finally get that video time.
That screen time he's always wanted.
Yeah. There's a couple different factors that we thought about story success and stuff. The original show was designed with Kristelle, Ciarza, Moon, and friends. At the time, it was Kristelle, Ciarza, and friends.
So much has happened.
Yeah, so much has happened. This has been a really emotional way to kind of preserve my memoirs, I guess. It sounds so weird. And to share Jace's talents on multiple different ways. It's kind of like Netflix, though. They always like to change up their content, and they always like to provide viewers with different angles and different stories and different actors and different scenes. So we are taking a step back, but I personally didn't feel that story success and stuff could continue without you. And especially on your new journey, I wanted you to completely focus on your new journey. And Ciarza focuses on just pivoting the content in a different way. So wanted to give you your thoughts on our last episode, and I'll close it out from here. But any thoughts on today's episode?
I love this episode. It's actually one of my favorite episodes that we did. It certainly got me thinking. I hope it'll get you all thinking as well, and that this will be a question you answer for yourselves as we did for ours. And as I look at my time here, my time with you and the team, I feel confident that I led a good life here, and that it came in at the perfect time for me in my life. And this podcast has been such a blast. And what a weird and unique experience to get to do a podcast with the CEO of your company and learn so much about you on a personal level, from your vulnerability and your transparency, which you've been so dedicated to, that so many people in your position would be terrified to do. So I really commend you for your willingness to do that, to speak on things that other agency owners, other CEOs just never would. I know that the audience has appreciated it as well. And this is one of my favorite episodes that we've done, so I hope you guys enjoy it.
For sure.
And just a personal thank you to you for letting me do this, to Justin for always making it absolutely incredible and a total blast, and of course to the viewers and the listeners who have allowed us to come be our wacky, wonderful selves here every week.
Absolutely. And Jace has brought a level to this show that has been not only authentically herself, but you've brought, as many people have told me, she's the voice of reason that I didn't realize I needed. So just with the way that your approach with the sassiness, the excitement, the failures, the successes, I will miss that very much. The show will very much evolve, though. Some really exciting news on Ciarza's front. Just because the episode won't be filming any new episodes, we definitely intend to keep it up, especially since there's such good content that's out there because of it. And you can never not say the phrase, oh, there was an episode for that.
That's right. We have an episode for that.
We have an episode for that. That episode will still be on air, which is great. But this will kind of evolve into just a one-on-one conversation with other guests in telling their stories as well. So really, I would say it's Stories, Success, and Stuff Part 2. And so that will be released later this summer with the help of Justin and obviously the rest of the team and the community at heart. But Thank you all so much for your support of Stories, Success, and Stuff. Don't forget to subscribe to any of our previous episodes or listen to any of our previous episodes on your favorite podcast channel. They will still continue to be up. It's also on YouTube and Ciarza.com. So thanks very much.
Hi, Stories, Success, and Stuff viewers and listeners. I'm Justin, your videographer, editor, and audio technician. According to Jace, a lot of people have said they'd like to see me on camera and not just hear my occasional piece of dialogue in the background. So here I am on our final episode. Before we get to the show, there's something that's been on my mind for a long time now. Months. Keeps me up at night. Something I've always wanted to say, and now I have the platform to say it. This is my chance. A few months ago, Kristelle quoted Thanos saying, when he was talking to a young Gamora, that he sacrificed everything and it cost him everything. She said that this line was from the movie Avengers Endgame. That's incorrect. It was actually Avengers Infinity War. So, I'm sorry that she lied to you all, and I hope you enjoy our final episode of this show. Thank you.
I wish 80s and 90s music. Nope. I wish 90s and 2000s hip-hop music would have a resurgence.
Wait, it never left. What are you talking about, resurgence?
Oh, are you kidding me? Have you heard rap music now? It's like trash. Yeah. No, like, and I say this because you said something, keep it right, keep it tight. And,
yeah.
And
well,
instantly,
technically I said toit.
Toit. Yeah. Like that
different.
was the 90s in my head going like, the name of the song was Miss Booty.
That was a song.
So in today's episode on Stories, Success, and Stuff, we're going to talk about life. We're going to talk about life and having a successful life. And if it feels like you have to have a pimp ride with a pimp mansion and some gold chains, you do you, boo.
Is that appropriation of pimp culture at this point?
No, not necessarily.
You could pimp your ride. Is that still allowed?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, that's called customization.
Oh, okay. Still allowed?
Oh, you didn't know this about car culture, homie?
I was like, I have stickers on mine. Does that count?
Yeah. Oh,
I've like nature. I've like outdoors.
Oh, I've ripped out like my radio deck and rewired it and like created a heart attack with my husband. It's great. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Because it's customization. Yeah.
Speaking of heart attacks.
Yeah. So how do you know if you've lived a good life?
It's the question we ask all of our guests at the end of their interview. When you are about to die. We phrase it differently, but we all know that's what we're asking.
Yeah, we're not catastrophizing here.
No, when you're on your deathbed, if you're in your last moments, how will you know you've lived a good life? What elements are essential for you for that? How will you know? The time has come. It's our time to answer the question.
Yeah, I think it's time to answer the question. The unfortunate thing about being a catastrophizer, struggling with constantly thinking like, am I going to die? Am I not going to die? What is anxiety?
You absolutely are.
Yeah, we are. When are you going to die?
Spoiler alert.
Do? Yeah. So
we're all dying. It's happening.
And I always used to say to myself, like, I have to make sure that whatever I do is great, and I'm going to live with that high expectation because I might be gone tomorrow, right? That's a catastrophizing type of way of thinking.
Sure.
And even my anxiety is just thinking about it, like, oh my God, I'm catastrophizing again. Something I'm working on. So I would say that I always think about when I die, it's kind of like what do people say about you when you're not in the room? What are people going to say when you're at the funeral, or like whenever they're thinking about you like 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 years after you've gone?
Yeah.
Like I think about family members that have just passed on, and I just think about the great memories. As long as you can reflect on good memories that you lived with certain people, and how you've nobody cares about how much money you made. Nobody cares about what you have done for them in a what you bought for them, etc. What items, they'll care about the will, and then after that's done, they'll forget about it, right? Or they'll be upset or painful or in pain about what the will is, but they'll usually forget about all the bullshit of the will.
I'm thinking mine right now. I'll be like, will you forgive me? I had nothing to leave you.
will you love me? Because I do love you, Will. Like, right? I'm just kidding. So, I think, thinking about that phrase, like, what does the end look like? Or how do you know if you lived a good life? People don't really give a shit about the will, right? Or if they do, it's like, do you really want them to be your friends or your family? Like, that's not cool, right?
I feel like you're like a married woman with the child and you own a business and stuff. And like, we are at very different stages of life, even though we're almost the same age.
Yeah.
I've never thought about any of that stuff.
Don't panic. Like, please don't.
No, not in a panic way, but like, and my sister is an attorney.
Yeah.
And she gets on us all the time that we need to have some of our
wills.
paperwork.
Yeah.
Not so much me, because I don't have kids. I don't own a lot. I'm like, who wants Luna Ray? She's a real pain in the ass. Like, who's wanting a 1972 refurbished travel trailer?
Yeah.
That's my like single possession.
Okay.
It's not a person that I'm giving away in my will. Don't worry.
Yeah.
But she does get on us. But I've never thought like, oh, people are going to be upset that like, because I'm
it's not worth stress. No,
I want to stress out about it, but it just never occurred to me to think about it.
Families, well, I experience this a lot,
Yeah.
especially with my in-laws, right? Like, and I have nothing but great things to say about them. But at the end of the day, the conversation about wills, estates, what's left behind.
Yeah.
And then you have my family that's like memories and quality time together and laughter and stories and jokes. That's what, when you know you lived a good life, is when you have an encyclopedia of really good and bad memories of people. I always said, there was a time, where I said like, oh, I want to leave a really strong legacy. Like, I really want our company to have a strong legacy, that it might be Justin's kids or Danielle's kids or Marissa's kids or your kids. I know you said you don't have kids, but like, I don't know. But like, I wanted other people to be like, they'll always remember Ciarza no matter the iteration of the company. I realized like, no, it doesn't really matter now. And like this revelation happened like very recently for me. Like, who gives a shit about how many stories there are with your name on it? Who gives a shit about how much you paid somebody? They're going to remember you for how they felt, of how you made them feel, or how you inspired them, or how you mentored them, or how you made them have an advance in life or disadvantage in life, whatever that might be. You remember the people, right? And so that's why I always said, I like recently went through this where I said, Kristelle, lay off the fact that you need to build an empire, right? Yes, you want to build an empire because you want to be ambitious, you want to be focused. I finally got that motivation back.
You want to be that mogul.
Yeah, like building the empire is a good empire, but I don't want to be remembered by the empire. I want to be remembered by the people that worked beside me, that loved me, and the people that I love. So,
do you know, I've noticed that as a running theme when we ask this question.
Yeah.
And I get to have a little bit more of a chat around it sometimes in my pre-interviews that I do with folks. And the common theme is indeed people and relationships, which we have touched on in different capacities here as well. And the same is true when people are on their deathbeds and they're like, oh, they're looking back at life. It does come down to the relationships and the people component of it. I love an encyclopedia of memories. Like, I love that so much. That just like the other day, so I run a morning meditation group, and we've been doing it for 4 years now, started during the pandemic. This is online. And one of our members is an elder, very much up there in age. And he has had this ongoing project where he's writing down the family history. He's been doing this for 2 years. And he talks about it. And he has mentioned many, many times that he is the last, the oldest member of the family still alive. He's the last one of the generations until, his kids and the kids' kids and whatnot. I hear about it all the time. But all of a sudden, 2 days ago, it occurs to me that being the youngest of my siblings, it is possible that they'll die before me and it'll just be me. And I'll be in a world without my sisters.
Nope, don't.
I don't know why that's never occurred to me.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, I'm like, I want to be without my sisters. And we don't always get along. We're very different people.
Yeah.
But I started crying on camera. Not just here, but I'm an easy crier these days. Yeah. And I texted my sisters. And I'm like, guys, I just realized you're going to die. And that it's possible that I'll be the last one. And there's something so significant about the people that go through our lives with us, that witness our lives and the lives that we get to witness. I have found one of my greatest honors in getting to be super close with people, have really good friends. The more open I've become, the more willing people have become to be open with me. And to truly get to witness a life is one of the biggest honors of all time. And like our siblings do that.
Yeah.
They're there from the beginning. They know all the weirdness from childhood. And even though if you talk to my sisters, you would think we all came from different homes and different like upbringings because we just received the world so differently. But the fact that we've shifted like where my family respects me.
Yeah.
And they rely on me and they respect me. And like they're like, oh, let's call Jace for this. She can help or she'll listen. And going from like the mess that I created in my younger life and like just selfishness and like all of the self-righteous judgmentalness and everything. Like the fact that people really know me, they actually know me. I'm not hiding anymore. Yeah. And that I really know them and that there's love and respect and admiration there and that the people close to me love and accept me and they see me fully. Like to me, if I died today, you could be assured I did lead a good life. I'd be fine.
I started to think that, and thank you for sharing that, as deep as that is. Thank you. I started to say that about myself too, that if I was gone tomorrow, I fucking crushed it.
So long as you didn't get crushed, just because that'd be a real messy
really
death.
gross.
I always think about like who's got to clean that up.
Yeah.
When I watch like action movies and stuff and there's just like fucking violence and bodies, I'm like, y'all know somebody's got to roll through and be the cleanup crew for this shit.
You know what's really unfortunate? I am that person that's like, I know exactly who needs to be called. I know where that's going to look like, the matter, etc. Like the people that have to do that. Like, so I've mentioned this before that I'm rewiring my brain a lot recently to stop thinking of the most horrific disaster in every situation.
Yeah.
And so it's just this abnormal way of thinking that has really started to like wreck my life and wreck my relationships. But there was a time where I said, if I died tomorrow, I know I lived a good life. And I still stand by that, right? Yeah. I live every day like it's my last. But then I started to feel like if I died tomorrow, my husband would be fine, my kid would be fine. Would I remarry if Spencer was gone? I would need to spend every single minute with Jonathan as much as possible because what if he was gone?
Yeah.
Right? We've had misfortunes and unfortunate situations of kids passing away at 18, 19, right? In my outer ring of family members. And my mom going through her health care, my dad going through, getting older, et cetera. I've really taken this long, and I guess that I know that the theme of today's episode is how do you know that you lived a good life? But I also I want people to know what I've started to go through recently, which is stop thinking about death in a way where you're starting to plan for it because you forget what's in front of you and you really start to rip apart the relationships that you have because you're so used to it being catastrophically ruined. And I said that because like I would be fearful, like Jonathan driving would be really difficult for me to swallow.
The fact that we let teenagers drive is terrifying to me as an adult on the road.
Yeah, it is. But the kid needs to drive. There's no doubt about it, right? He wants his own life. He wants to become an adult. He wants to start learning how to be independent, and he absolutely should.
It's part of it.
And so, anyways, I really started to direct my relationships where it was really depressing. That everything, and even my therapist was asking, like, when did this start to get bad? And I thought it was the wedding because I was like, I have a great thing, and I really live like I checked off everything I wanted to do. I accomplished a lot of the things. I'm married now. I have a successful, relationship, good, bad, and ugly of it all. And I'm like, okay, so I'm good, right?
Yeah.
And I didn't know where to go from here. And then all of a sudden I was like, well, if we die tomorrow, I lived a good life. And then that was subject matter A, and then B, and then C, and D, and E. And I was really miserable.
Yeah.
I was really, really miserable ripping that whole whole thing apart. In fact, when we were doing one of the interviews with a guest, and I asked that question, how do you know you lived a good life? I almost wanted to like ask that question because I was too depressed to ask the question to begin with. So, it is what it is, right? Like we look at the people that we have in front of us, and sometimes I wrote this on my Facebook page. I said, when times are tough, you love harder, you hug harder, you love harder, you strive harder. And that's what I realized is a better approach rather than panicking about whether or not my husband was going to be alive tomorrow. Yeah.
Well, and we talked about the flip side of success that isn't shared about. So if you guys missed that, it's in our grieving success episode. And, when you've checked everything off, then it's like, well, what the fuck am I doing now? And that's such an excellent point that like then it's like, cool, bucket list complete. I can die now. It's all extra. And that's something like, this is going to sound kind of weird, but in 10 years, like a couple months from now, I'll be celebrating my 10-year anniversary of not committing suicide and not going through with my plan to end my life. And a really weird benefit to come out of that, like I already thought I'd be dead by now. Yeah. So I've gotten 10 like bonus years. Yeah. So it's like I don't fear death ever. Yeah. And I do think about it. And like I come from a weird family, so we talk about like my running joke. We were like, well, everybody's talking about like what they want to be done with their remains and cremated or whatever. And I was like, I'd like to be stuffed.
Yeah.
And just have like a full adult sized version of me that you guys transfer to your houses for different holidays and stuff. Yeah. I don't actually want that. I don't think, but it'd be fun. We're pranksters. Like we all have weird pranks to have happening at our funerals and whatnot. We're just a sick family. But so we do talk about it. And I have no qualms with death.
Yeah.
And that's such a gift that past me gave current me, where I can think about those things. And some of you talked about legacy. I had this notion for a good long while that if I didn't make huge, like monumental impact in the world, why did I even come here? Like, then what would the point have been? And for me, it was like that black and white thinking. It's got to be like really big to matter. And that's been a shift I've made within the last couple of years.
Good.
When I really started looking and listening, especially working with people in, addiction recovery and self-mastery and things like that, and watching the shifts that have happened, just being friends with people for a long time and the impact that they share with me I've had, I realized like I've done my job. It's like it doesn't have to be millions of people. It could, if I was done, if that was it, I only impacted the people I've impacted on this day, that would have been enough because it's exponential, right?
Yeah.
Then they're impacting people or one person I've worked with for a long time, like his wife has been like, she's always like, when he, like, there's a change, she'll be like, Jace had something to do with this. Like, and I've gotten to meet her and she's super cool. And then that impacts me. And like, we never know, right? What impact we're having on the world. And I've come to say, like, for myself, I don't care very much if it's big. And that was a hard thing. Then I was like, then what's my purpose? And I kind of went through the same thing you did where you're like, I've checked all the boxes. Now what? And I'm like, if I'm not here to monumentally shift the ways of mankind, then what am I here for? And it came down to like fun. To enjoy, like when in Rome, right? So if I'm gonna be in the human body and out here on earth and in the world and whatnot, then I want to do as the humans do. I want to eat everything. I want to dance to every song. I want to have the heartache. I want to do all of the possible things. I want to have all of the experiences and live as many types of life as possible when I'm here.
It's funny how you mentioned that you feel like you and I are in different places in the world. I haven't even thought of 10% of what you thought of at all, right? Stories, success and stuff was created upon this feeling of, Kristelle, what you asked me, Kristelle, what do you want to do with this podcast? And I said, I want to tell my stories, right? And you said, well, what's your purpose in life? And I said, to create jobs and help people.
I think technically you said create people and help jobs.
Yeah. Sure damn did. But to even think as philosophically and as you always think of yourself in a higher being, which I think is so impressive about you. I don't think about myself in that fashion. And I think it's because I have really focused on making sure that I'm the task taker and the task completer. I might not do it in time. I'll get it done.
It's going to happen. All right, y'all, give it a little slack.
Yeah.
It's going to happen.
And you know, I'm the task taker. I'm the mission setter. Somebody said about me once, as long as I know that Kristelle has her hands on the project, you know what's going to happen. It's been incredible to hear that in previous years, and I know that when I'm gone, like, people are going to say that too. That's cool.
She
That's
got
great.
shit done.
Yeah, but sometimes not on time, but I got them done. And I think I have just lived a life of driving, not pulling over and watching the sunsets as often as I'd like to.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't know what life will be in front of me. I just know that with every question that we answer to a guest, and as great as it is, sometimes the unhappiest endings are not what I anticipated, and I'm okay with that, right? I'm okay with just like, hey, I'm here.
Acceptance is a big part of happiness, actually.
Yeah.
Like, Ed is a master at that, of just accepting things as they are.
Yeah.
I'm being surprised in live action right now that I have a voice in my head that's saying, you aren't done yet. Like, it's actually saying, you ain't done yet, girl, because I have my voice inside is very sassy. I just hear, you ain't done yet. If it was like, boom, this is your last day to live, Jace, I'm going to backtrack what I said. I'm going to backpedal. I would have a single regret. And you'd mention it, like, you have your husband, you have your family, you're in this successful, beautiful relationship, and you guys have gone through so much of your growth together and things like that. I will feel sad if I have not had like an epic love story, or even just been chosen and loved, and that I had someone to love and like go through life with in a unique way. Like, I literally woke up this morning, I kid you not, and I was like, oh my God, so many people love me. I'm so supported. So many people want me to have good things in life and to be happy and healthy, and like, just, I got so many people that have my back, which is incredible. And I literally woke up in all this gratitude. It sounds so cheesy. And then I sang, and the birds helped me get ready. No, but like,
they carried your hair.
They did, and like, I put my robe on and everything. Yeah. Indiana was like, what is happening? I want to kill all of these things. This took a turn, but no, I am so loved, and my friend reminds me always, because like, being chosen is a big healing component for me, coming from abandonment stuff and my core wounding and whatever, like, so he always reminds me, like, these people have chosen you in their life, Jace, like your friends and everything that give you their time, because he knows time is my love language. He's like, they chose you. And yet I have a long track record in a romantic sense of not being chosen. And I've got time. Don't worry, I don't need a pep talk or anything, but like, real talk, if I died today, I would be sad that I didn't have like a beloved.
Oh, I know that person will come. It's one of those things, and this will be the last thing that we have to say on today's podcast, but like, I didn't know that the day that I walked into that into that little house on Monroe, and all of a sudden, like, my dude walked in with a big ass pimple on his nose. I didn't know that I would find the one.
Yeah.
You'll never know. You'll never know. It's just it's like back to the episode that we talked about a second ago about the weather. You know, the weather is predictable, but it's not. And when you least expect it, that person won't come, I think.
Maybe.
So, valuable lesson in the question of if your life was to end tomorrow, how do you know if you lived a good life? So, I
want to add it to the comments.
Yeah, add it to the comments. We'd love to hear.
How will you know you lived a good life?
Great. I would greatly appreciate comments, messages, emails. Skywriting. That's what I was thinking of. Pigeon sending.
Oh yeah. Add a note in a pizza box and have it delivered, gluten-free, please, green chili and mushrooms.
Thanks again for joining us on Stories, Success, and Stuff. This is Jace. I'm Kristelle. Don't forget to subscribe to us on your favorite podcast channel. Watch us on YouTube and follow us at sierra.com. Thanks again. We'll see you soon.